Hi, everyone. Welcome again to IV English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today, we're in the middle of June, and we have a long article for you, and it's a reading comprehension article for this month. It's called The Flower That Hears the Bees.
中文标题是花朵听得见蜜蜂嗡嗡嗡。
Listen carefully as I read through the entire article, and when we are all finished rereading and explaining and interpreting and translating it, we have a few questions for you.
We have an interview for you after the article.
What do you need to hear sound? You probably guessed ears, but sounds can be detected in other ways too. Scientists have found that flowers have the ability to sense noise in their environment. More than that, it appears the blossoms can then use that information to their advantage. Lilach Hadani, a researcher at Tel Aviv University, discovered these groundbreaking findings after testing the hypothesis, what if plants can hear? To answer the question, Hadani and her team looked at the evening primrose, a flower that produces a measurable amount of nectar. When they exposed the primrose to a lack of sound, as well as 4 varying sound frequencies, they discovered that the primrose increased the concentration of sugar in its nectar minutes after hearing audio recordings of bees and a similar low-frequency sound. The flowers showed no change in response to the 3 other variables. The research team also looked at the role the cup-like shape of the flower played in detecting sound. Using a laser vibrometer, they were able to see that the structure of the primrose allowed for an increase in vibrations within the bloom when it was exposed to the sound of bees. Meanwhile, flowers missing 1 or more petals were incapable of creating vibrations. The team believes this proves an evolutionary advantage that flowers use in pollination. As bees can detect changes in sugar levels in nectar, sweeter nectar means there is a greater chance that the flower's genetic material will be collected and passed on. Thus, when flowers, in this case the primrose, detect the presence of a nearby bee, they will adjust their sugar accordingly.
So who knew that that flowers took an active role in their own evolution? They're all like, oh, hey, bee, gonna get sweeter, and then my genes will get passed on. Ha, 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 ha.
Amazing. I can imagine 20, 30 years from now, the things we will know that we, like in astronomy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just been revolutionized, completely, utterly revolutionized. I wonder what another 20, 30 years will bring us.
Hashtag 20-year challenge. Science then and now.
Yeah, 真的是这科学发展日新月异啊。那 Bruce 老师讲说，因为他对天文学很有兴趣，他说天文学现在整个科学界都等于是在革命性的改变哈。那再来个20年。我们人类所知的天文不知道会有什么样的重大的改变，就好像我们今天才知道说，原来搞了半天，花朵居然听得到蜜蜂的声音。
Yeah. I know. I love this, actually. So let's read the article in detail. What do you need to hear sound? So what do you as a human being need to hear sound? You probably guessed ears, because we human beings all have ears, and that's how we used to hear. That's what we used to hear, good Lord. But sounds can be detected in other ways, too. If you've ever gone to a rock concert, you know that you can feel sounds. You can feel the hairs on your arms vibrating sometimes from the bass in a rock concert.
Yeah, 好，所以这个句子一开始他说 What do you need to hear sound? 你需要什么才听得见声音呢？You probably 你可能会 guessed 你可能会猜 ears 耳朵啊，我们需要耳朵才能听到声音啊。But sounds can be detected in other ways too 但是呢，声音可以被 detected 被侦测到被 identify 被 discover the existence of 的意思或者是 detect 就是 to discover 或者是 identify the presence or existence of something 所以你可以侦测到某个东西的存在所以声音可以被侦测到 in other ways 就是用其他的方法也可以侦测到声音所以这是一个很有趣的一个开头。
Quick question. What do Lady Gaga, Zhang Hui, and Ubai have in common?
Hearing loss?
Their audiences.
Oh. I was going to say, well, just about every major musician has this in common. That means hearing loss.
所以刚刚 Bruce 老师这个头脑急转弯他说这个 Lady Gaga 跟江蕙伍佰他们有什么共同之处呢那这个答案就是 audiences 他们都有听众or they all have fans.
They have the same fans?
No. And, well, except for me, I was there for all three.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, I love them. No, that's from your description of the hairs on your arm vibrating, and you can feel the bass especially.
Yeah.
It just runs right through you like the wind is blowing through you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sound is vibration. And actually, that's how your ears work, too.
Yeah.
Your ears have little tiny hairs in them that vibrate when the sound happens, when the vibration happens, and your brain interprets this as the sounds.
Yeah, 好，所以这个刚刚 Angie 老师有举到一个很有趣的例子，就是各位如果去参加那个演唱会，如果站在那个音响的旁边的话，你会感觉到那声音出来的时候，你会感觉到震动你身上的毛发可能都会震动所以音是有音波的，所以声音基本上是一种震动。那我们的耳朵也只不过是一个很厉害的装置，它可以把这个震动呢把它转换成为我们所听到的声音所以要感觉到要 detect 声音的话，不一定要靠耳朵。
Okay, let's go ahead. Scientists have found that flowers have the ability to sense noise in their environment. At first, as a human being, you might think, "Wow, come on, flowers don't have ears." But you will soon see that they can hear.
所以科学家们 have found that 他们发现到这个花朵呢 have the ability to 这个 flowers 在这里是普通名词的复数，没有加冠词，就泛指一般的花所以花朵他们有这个能力干嘛呢？ To sense 去感知到 perceive P-E-R-C-E-I-V-E 他们可以感知到 noise 这个一些噪音 in their environment 在他们环境里面。所以以后你如果养花养草这个种植物的话，要记得不要太吵，太吵他们也会受不了。
So, more than just sensing noise, we're not talking about hearing, we're just talking about sensing noise. That's a more precise way of saying things, since you do need ears to quote-unquote hear. So, more than that, more than sensing noise, more than just sensing noise, it appears that blossoms can then use that information to their advantage. They actually do something with this information and they improve their circumstances with it. That, for me, is the even more cool thing about this.
好，所以 more than that 就是这个有办法能够 sense noise 不只是这样子。It appears 就是 it seems 看起来好像是这样的，好像什么样子呢？ The blossoms 就是花朵开的花叫做 blossoms， 他们可以 use that information， 他们可以利用那一个资讯就是他们所听到的声音，那就是一个 information。To their advantage, to use something to their advantage, to someone's advantage, 这个可以把它背起来To use something to your advantage, 就是利用某个东西使它成为某人或者使它成为自己的优势所以花朵他们不但听得到声音，而且他们好像还能够把他们所听到这个声音利用它成为自己的一个优势。
Okay, going ahead. Next paragraph. Laila Hadani, a researcher at Tel Aviv University, discovered these groundbreaking findings after testing the hypothesis, what if plants can hear? What an interesting research question.
Yeah, honestly, I want to know how she came to this question.
Yeah.
Why would you think that?
If you think about it, you know bees and especially bumblebees.
Yeah, they have that bzzz.
That's I think why we call them bees in English.
That's why we call them bumblebees, that particular species, because they go bumble, 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 bumble. They're the cutest things.
They're very low sound, and you can almost feel that. Since bees frequent flowers as a verb.
They're frequent flyers of flowers. Say that 9 times fast.
No thanks.
Yeah. 所以这个地方我们讲到说这个英文的 bees 其实他们大家知道蜜蜂嗡嗡嗡的声音嘛那这个bumblebees 他们的那个声音听起来还能 bumble 那种声音所以他们都是真的是有声音的所以我们刚刚就在讨论 这位科学家他不知道怎么样想到这个问题的哈，那可能他就听那个蜜蜂声音，他就觉得也许之间有关联。好，所以这位科学家呢，他是 a researcher， 他是个研究员啊，在这个以色列的特拉维大学的研究员，他发现了这些 groundbreaking， 就是突破性的啊，这个 findings， 这些突破性的这些科学的发现啊，是他怎么样，在他测试他的这个 hypothesis， 就是他的假设啊。当然，科学研究就是你先有一个假设，你假设这个跟这个之间会有什么样的关系，然后你再开始去研究做实验啊，经过反复的证实，就可以得到你的答案了。那他的假设是什么呢？ What if plants can hear 啊？这个植物如果能听得到的话，那又怎么那是怎么这个会怎么样呢？啊，所以 What if 就是底下这件事情发生的话会怎么样呢？ What if plants can hear？ 如果植物可以听到的话，那会怎么样呢？对我们对于整个自然界理解会有什么影响呢？
So to answer this question, Hadani and her team looked at the evening primrose, and this is a kind of flower that produces a measurable amount of nectar. Why is this important? Well, they want to be able to measure the nectar. All flowers produce nectar, but they do it in varying amounts. If they do it in a considerable amount, something that's easily measurable, it's easier for scientific purposes.
所以他们有了一个 hypothesis 之后呢，To answer the question， 他们要回答他们自己提出的这个研究问题呢，他们就怎么样？他跟他的 team looked at， 就去观察啊 ，the evening primrose 啊，就是月见草啊 ，evening primrose 就是月见草啊。那月见草什么东西呢？逗点啊，同位格告诉你，它是 a flower that， 它是一种花，这个花会 produces， 会产生一个 a measurable amount of nectar 是花蜜，所以这种花它会产生呢可以测量到的这种花蜜的量啊。那它如果能够测量到，表示这个量不是很少，因为如果有的花它花蜜其实不多的话，那你根本测不太出来啊。但这种花月见草，它的这个 nectar 的量是 measurable， 是量得出来的啊，显然不少。
And as good researchers or scientists, they have to design an experiment, and that becomes clear in the next sentence, when they expose the primrose to a lack of sound, as well as 4 varying sound frequencies. To expose is to put next to, put near the flower. The control would be a lack of sound. This is one testable area of the experiment. And there were 4 other sounds, including those of bees, audio recordings of bees, and a similar low-frequency sound. We just mentioned the bumblebee, which has a very low sound. Flies, mosquitoes have much higher-pitched sounds. But all in all, there were 5 different experimental tests, and they wanted to see which ones, if any, that the flower would react to.
好，然后呢，他们就 when they exposed 啊，他们暴露啊，这个 primrose 把它暴露在什么样的状况呢？暴露于啊，就是介系词是用 to 啊 exposed the primrose to。首先，他们暴露于 a lack of sound， 就是在没有声音的环境 ，as well as 也把它暴露于 4种 varying sound frequencies， 4种不同的这个声音的频率之下。这个时候呢，他们发现到说，这个 primrose 它会 increased， 它会增加啊 the concentration of sugar， 增加糖的浓度啊 concentration 就是集中嘛，那在这里就是翻成浓度啊，比较容易理解。它会增加它的这个 nectar， 它花蜜中糖的浓度啊。那什么时候它会增加呢？ Minutes after hearing 啊，这几分钟之后，他们听到这声音之后几分钟啊，听到什么声音呢？听到 audio recordings， 就是一个录音啊，什么东西的录音呢 ？Bees 蜜蜂声音的录音，还有呢 a similar low frequency sound 一个类似的低频的声音。也就是说，他们啊这个试验的办法就是让这个花听啊，一个是 lack of sound 没有声音啊，另外呢是4个不同的频率的声音。那这4个不同的频率声音里面呢，有一个显然是这个蜜蜂的这个声音的频率啊，还有一个是跟蜜蜂声音频率很像的啊，这个一种这个频率啊，所以让他们听听看，看有什么样的这个反应。
So that's what's interesting is that the flower showed no change in response to the 3 other variables, which clearly shows that the bees are what's important here.
然后呢，这个花朵呢，它显示出没有任何的改变。好 ，in response to 就是作为什么回应啊？它回应这3个 other 有3个其他的 variables 就是变数就是实验里面的变数换句话说，它现在其实有5个变数嘛，就是5种不同的东西拿去试，发现呢其中有2种就是蜜蜂的声音还有呢另外一个频率类似的一个这个声音，这2个声音花朵听到之后几分钟他们就会开始增加他们花蜜里面的糖的浓度。但另外3个 frequencies 就是另外3个 variables 他们听了是没有什么任何的反应。
Okay, next paragraph. The research team also looked at the role the cup-like shape of the flower played in detecting sound. So, yes, they ran 5 experiments with sound and the composition or sweetness of the nectar, but they were also interested in the primrose flower has petals that, if you point it up, so to speak, looks like a cup. So it's cup-like or cup-shaped. Will this have some influence on the sounds that are going on around it, and maybe the flower somehow can hear better or interpret sounds due to this structure?
那这个研究团队the research team also looked at 他们也这个研究了，他们也观察了the role the cup-like shape of the flower played play role 就是扮演角色。那这里呢他说是他们观察一下这个角色是谁扮演的角色呢，是 the cup-like 像杯子一样的 shape of the flower， 也就是月见草它的花朵的这个形状呢就好像杯子一样。那他们研究这个 cup-like shape of the flower它所 played 它所扮演的 role 在哪方面所扮演的角色呢， in detecting sound 在侦测声音方面这些像杯子一样的花朵的形状扮演了什么角色他们也看了一下。
So they used a laser vibrometer. Vibro is vibration, and meter usually means a measurement of some kind. So a laser vibrometer is something that uses lasers to measure the vibration of a thing. And using this machine, they were able to see the point of a machine like this is you can see very, very tiny, tiny vibrations that you couldn't see with your eye. And so using this machine, they were able to see that the structure of the primrose, the shape of it, allowed for an increase in vibrations within the bloom when it was exposed to the sound of bees. So for some reason, when a bee sound was present, the bloom had more vibrations in it, which is kind of a really interesting concept.
好，那他们 using 这个是个现代分词它是分词构句，他们使用了一个 laser 就是雷射的这个 vibrometer 就是一个测量振动的一个仪器所以 laser vibrometer 就是雷射测振仪他们用这样的一个东西呢测那个振动的，他们就 they were able to see 他们可以看到the structure of the primrose 月见草它的花的结构 structure allowed for 就是 to make it possible for something to happen 所以它的结构就让底下这件事情是可能的，也就是会造成它的结构有利于 an increase 一个增加，在哪方面增加呢？ in vibrations 在这个振动方面的增加 within the bloom 就是指花，所以很有趣的是这个月见草它的花的形状可以增加它花内部的这个振动当它被 exposed to the sound of bees， 当我们把这个花放在蜜蜂的声音当它能够接受到蜜蜂的声音的时候呢，它的花的形状会增加这个花里面的振动。
So the shape of a structure has a certain resonance. By resonance, we mean the sound vibration that tends to move that structure. And different structures have a different resonance point. My sisters and I went around, when we were going around Europe, we made a point to every time we were in an old building, we would sing in a corner of it to try to find what note was the most resonant note. And if you're singing like, at some point you could find the note and you could tell because suddenly the whole room would just be alive with that sound and you would also could have feel the vibration in your body. It was the coolest thing. So what it means is that these flowers are optimized for bee resonance. That's a really cool thing to say.
This is the science of acoustics.
There you go.
Acoustics 通常就是这个音响效果这个声音的一些声音工程甚至于你可以这样讲。所以刚刚这个 Angela 讲说他们到这空的房间里面去这个唱歌或者发出声音，会发现某些声音它特别能够引起共振那这个显然这个花它也可以这样子听到它的结构让这个蜜蜂的声音会增加它的 在它花里面的那个震动啊，所以显然让它引起的共振的意思。
Acoustics, A-C-O-U-S-T-I-C-S. You have to have that S. It's not a plural. It's like economics, physics. Acoustics, A-C-O-U-S-T-I-C-S.
这个字大概是我们讲的所谓的音响效果哈，你可以讲到这个某个 building 它的 acoustics 哈，或者是这个演唱会啊，你有这种音响方面的问题，那都是 acoustics.
Okay, meanwhile, flowers missing one or more petals were incapable of creating vibrations. So, by using the laser vibrometer in this research, they also found not only that the primrose shape, the structure of the petals of the bloom, vibrated more when they were exposed to the sound of bees. Also, meanwhile, in addition, furthermore, flowers missing one or more petals were not able to create vibrations. So this made sure that as many blooms as possible on a primrose plant should be in perfect order. The better and more perfect blooms you have, the more bees you can attract, and the more nectar and pollen will be distributed from your plant.
Meanwhile, 在此同时呢 flowers 这些花如果是 missing one or more petals 花瓣，如果它有一个花瓣或者更多的花瓣不见的或者没有的话呢，它们就 were incapable of 就没有办法 to be incapable of doing something 就是无法做某件事情，它们就无法产生 vibrations 产生震动，所以花的形状对于花能够听到蜜蜂的声音也很重要。
The team believes this proves an evolutionary advantage that flowers use in pollination. Well, yeah, because if you're going to attract bees more to you than to other flowers, then you're going to survive better as a flower in the world. I mean, you meaning your generations.
Yeah, 所以这个团队呢，他们认为这个证明的 proves 证明了一个怎么样 an evolutionary advantage 就是演化上的一个这个优势that flowers use in pollination pollination 就是授粉花要授粉，所以花他们为了达到授粉的目的就具有这样的一个能力，那这是一种演化上面的优势。
As bees can detect changes in sugar levels in nectar, sweeter nectar means there is a greater chance that the flower's genetic material will be collected and passed on. So just as we can smell whether something is more oily or sometimes sweeter or saltier than something else, bees can detect. They can feel changes in sugar levels. Of course, the sweeter the nectar, the more interested the bee will be in collecting it. As they collect it, that's how they pollinate. They collect pollen that is in the middle of the flower. And then when they fly on to get more nectar, that's how pollination is collected and passed on from one flower to another flower, which ensures genetic variability.
好，那我们可以看到他说，当这个as 因为bees 蜜蜂可以 detect， 他们可以侦测到 changes in sugar levels， 他们可以侦测到在糖的这个浓度方面的改变in nectar， 也就是他们能够你这个花蜜的糖的浓度，蜜蜂是侦测得出来的所以呢，这个 sweeter nectar 比较甜的花蜜，就表示说 there's a greater chance 比较大的机会这个花的这个genetic material 它的遗传，它的这个基因物质呢 will be collected 会被收集起来 and passed on 被传递下去因为这个蜜蜂他们知道哪些花蜜比较甜，那比较甜的花蜜他们当然比较喜欢，他们就去采那个花蜜，那采了那个花蜜，那这个花就有更多的机会可以把他们的基因延续下去。
And thus, and therefore, when flowers, in this case the primrose, detect or sense the presence of a nearby bee, they will adjust their sugar accordingly. Plants are cool.
Yeah,
I'm amazed.
Yeah, 所以呢当花朵在我们今天谈的这个 in this case 我们今天所谈的是这个月见草呢，当它 detect 当它侦测到 the presence of a nearby bee， 它发现到附近有蜜蜂的时候它发现附近蜜蜂的存在的时候 the presence of a nearby bee， 他们就会 adjust 他们就会调整他们的 sugar 他们的这个糖的含量 accordingly 就是这个相对应的consequently as a result他们 有蜜蜂，他们就根据这个事实，他们就调整他们花蜜里面的浓度。
And so we come to the listening comprehension questions. Number 1 is, what was Hadani trying to prove in her study?
哈德尼想要在他的研究当中证明什么呢？
The answer is C, if flowers were capable of picking up noise in the environment.
他们想要证明花朵是不是能够听见环境中的嘈杂声。
Number 2, what was not an aspect of the study mentioned in the passage?
文中并没有提到研究中的哪一个层面呢？
D is the answer. The researchers compared the nectar of the primrose to other flowers.
好，答案是 D， 研究人员比较月见草跟其他花朵的花蜜。
And number 3, according to the passage, what advantage do flowers get from being able to detect sound? Why is it a good idea for flowers to be able to do it?
根据本文花朵能够侦测声音，它可以得到什么样的优势呢？
The answer is domination. They can try to ensure a greater chance of pollination.
答案是 B 他们可以设法确保更大的授粉机会。
That's it for today's program. Please join us whenever you can.